Us family, I think, is really galvanizes around the strength of women. Since the very start, Ashley and I have always wanted a plural family. And
hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. Well, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, the information that's coming out about the Snowdens with Ashley, Dimitri, and potential sister wife Christeline is rapidly evolving, and information is coming out and coming out and coming out. And as I was going to bed last night, TMZ posted that the judge in the case where Christeline had requested a restraining order against both Dimitri and Ashley dismissed her request. And we're gonna kind of go through that. I'm gonna give my thoughts. I asked you guys for your thoughts yesterday, so we're gonna go over kind of what, there's been a couple schools of thought that I've noticed on social media, and then I'm just gonna give you my thoughts. And I guess we'll continue to see how this all plays out and really how it evolves on the show. And I kind of am looking, like I said yesterday in my video, I'm looking at their interactions, especially with their kids, through a completely different lens now. Okay, so this is what TMZ posted last night. It says, seeking sister wife star Dimitri Snowden no longer has to deal with a restraining order against him. A judge tossed the case. Let's kind of get to the bullet points. The judge found Christine did not meet her burden of proof. Christeline had testified that Dimitri slammed her head into a headboard and choked her during sex. This is interesting. Dimitri countered by showing text messages he claims Christeline sent him saying she liked the choking. In the end, the judge said that she could not ascertain which party was telling the truth, so she tossed the case. As Christeline's separate allegations against Ashley, the judge tossed that case as well. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on the judge's decision in this case, and I'm going to touch on that at the end. But yesterday in my video, I had talked about this Facebook group that has a bunch of other women talking about their experiences with courting and dating the Snowdens, and how many people use the word traumatic in describing their experiences with the Snowdens. So I just wanted to kind of go over a couple of those. I have redacted names and pictures because for privacy, as to make it as private as possible. I know these are posted in public forums, but I just want to take that extra step to ensure as much privacy as possible. So here is the first one. This was posted, I believe it is the Seeking Sister Wife group on Facebook. Hi ladies, my name is blank. I'm a former sister wife of Dimitri and Ashley. It saddens me to see how things are still the same with Dimitri. He was cheating on us when I was there. In fact, I have text and Facebook messages from him to some of the women he was sleeping with. It was only a year ago. I was thrown out of the house after Ashley decided she didn't want me there anymore. I refused to be her lover, and she took that as me not wanting her, only Dimitri. Before I was thrown out, Ashley took the children and went to Cincinnati and left Dimitri to do the dirty work. While he and I were there without her, he had another woman sleep over without my knowledge. There was so much trauma my daughters and I experienced while being there. It was horrible. Ashley is an enabler and her husband a sexual deviant. I thought she was my sister and I loved her as such. So when she left with no explanation, that destroyed me because I thought she was sincere. But I found text messages from her to Dimitri saying awful things about me and my children. It was hard to see them take their dysfunction to a national level. Even if the girl Jocelyn, so this was before Vanessa. If you remember, Jocelyn, Dimitri dated and slept with, and Ashley put the kibosh on that relationship. That I believe was in season 1 or season 2 of Seeking Sister Wife. Yeah, it was season 1 because in season 2 was when they were full on courting Vanessa and they ended up marrying her. even if the girl Jocelyn is a paid actor, that has happened, what has happened speaks volumes to their morality and actual interest in living a healthy polygamous lifestyle. Then another woman posted a response to someone. I simply cannot believe these people are still hurting and abusing women. My God, when does it end? I was abused as well. I didn't call the police because I was going through a custody battle with my ex. I was afraid he's used that to take my daughter away. Dimitri offered me $10,000 to move out. He only gave me $8,000. I left and never looked back. If only I would have said something to the authorities. And it kind of cut off from the screenshot, but you guys get the gist. So this is alarming and horrific, and it says a lot about the Snowdens as a couple. Based off of these Facebook posts, and of course, like, I don't know these women, I don't know their relationships with Ashley and Dimitri. The one that was a longer detailed explanation, she did have pictures posted with them as a couple, so it seems pretty legitimate, their relationship. It really seems that it is Ashley and Dimitri together really having their thumb over these women and asserting a sort of dominance. And what was really interesting to me is I pointed out one instance, but there was a couple other posts that I saw as well where people insinuated that Ashley wanted the sister wives to be lovers to her as well. And if both of them are exerting sexual dominance over them, that can be incredibly intimidating. So yesterday I had posted the screenshot of the TMZ article where I was asking people what they thought about the judge throwing out the case, that there was just not enough evidence. And some people were saying they believe Chrissy. There's people that are saying they don't believe her and that she's just doing this for some sort of clout or fame or notoriety or something. And let me just give you guys my thoughts. I said in the beginning of my video yesterday, and I had said in several videos prior, that to me, when I introduced, let me back up. I'm like falling all over my words. When I introduced the season 3 couples, I had said that to me, the two couples that really seemed like they had a shot at being in a healthy polygamous lifestyle was the Snowdens and the Joneses, because mainly because Ashley and Tasha seemed the most into the idea of sharing their husband, right? Now, yesterday in my video, I had said that I really didn't get the vibe that Dimitri was like a domineering person, that I always got the vibe that Ashley was the one that was like the head of the ship, you know? But appearances can be very, very deceiving. And I think that that is really important to consider when we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and especially manipulators and narcissists can be incredibly convincing at putting on an act and being on camera. And based just on the totality of different stories coming out about them, for me, I'm of the opinion of where there's smoke, there's fire. But that is just my opinion. Now, of course, there are false reports and false allegations, and those are horrific, and they only serve to discredit and put another barrier in any victim seeking justice or coming forward and telling their story. So of course that happens. It's important to note though that it is incredibly rare. It is not a common occurrence for someone to falsely report DV, SA, things of that nature. It's not the norm. The norm is people that are afraid to come forward. One person that we have not heard from is Vanessa. She was the wife they married in season 2. And in season 3, she is persona non grata. And I'm going to play for you their explanation in episode 1 of season 3 as to what happened with their relationship with Vanessa. So just take a look at this.
The breakup kind of was sudden. I mean, at least for us it was. And she announced that she wanted to conclude the relationship. We got that message via text. She did come back with her mom and her sister. I think they were kind of like her support group. She packed her room, packed her clothes, and that's all I know.
So I don't know about you guys, but I've been broken up with a couple times in my life. I've had relationships end for whatever reason. I've had to go and retrieve my things, or I've had to bring my ex-boyfriend their things. So I have some experience with this. At no point in any of those relationships did I ever feel like I needed a family member or some sort of intermediary to be there with me when doing that. Maybe I guess I could see for like emotional support, but it just seemed really interesting to me that Vanessa would seemingly break up with them via text message, and then when she came to get her stuff, she had to bring her mom and sister with her. To me, that really looks like there was something super toxic that she was trying to leave. Now, Vanessa has not said anything on social media. It is highly speculated that she signed an NDA with the couple, and like in addition to the NDA she would have had with appearing on the show. I will tell you, I reached out to her. I haven't heard back, and maybe she will speak out on some platform one day. I don't know. Maybe Christeline coming forward might encourage her or inspire her to share her story. But if the breakup was as simple as Ashley said, like it wasn't a good fit, why can't she give her side of the story? Why are we only hearing from the Snowdens via the TV show? That just seems really sketchy to me. Now let's talk about the actual request for a restraining order and the judge dismissing it. Personally, in my opinion, I think that the judge should have erred on the side of caution. One person, I think a couple people actually, I noticed in my comment sections have said, falsely accusing someone, this could ruin his life, having this restraining order taken out against him. Well, a restraining order is not a criminal charge. He's not going to face any criminal charges for it. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree that falsely accusing someone of something that horrific definitely could ruin their life. And if they're guilty, it definitely should have some sort of consequence in their life for sure. So definitely we don't want people who are innocent to be dragged through the mud unfairly. That is not the goal. However, just asking a judge to have someone stay away from you seems like pretty benign in the things that could happen to someone like falsely, let's say. Now, on the other hand, we have seen numerous times people asking for restraining orders that don't get them, and then something incredibly horrific happens. And we even see people violating restraining orders. So it's not even to say that just granting the restraining order would have done anything, but at least it's a step. At least it's a good faith effort that we believe you, Christeline. And I in my opinion, I don't think granting a restraining order would be any sort of stain on Dimitri's reputation. And I think in the interest of safety, it would have been better to have granted a temporary restraining order. That's just my opinion. You guys can obviously let me know what you think. Additionally, I did find it incredibly interesting that in the one screenshot that I shared, the one woman said that Dimitri offered her $10,000 and she said, and he only paid me 8. In my head, I was like, he gave you 8 grand that he was not legally obligated to give you. This dude has money to throw around. So when you're financially powerful, that's really intimidating, and it's especially intimidating to people that are financially vulnerable. Christeline, being an immigrant, I don't know if she was here on a tourist visa or if she was here on a K-1 visa. It's unclear at the moment had she moved here permanently. She did have her children with her, so I don't know, but she I don't believe is authorized to work in the United States, so she's financially dependent on Dimitri. So this is not in her best interest to come out, file a restraining order, and go through all this hubbub. So I find it very interesting that the Snowdens seem to have money that they're willing to like throw at these women to kind of make them go away. Additionally, they seem to have some sort of financial backing to even enforce an NDA. I mean, I could ask someone coming on my show to sign an NDA. Maybe they do sign an NDA and then they go blab their mouth. Well, what the hell am I going to do about it? I'm certainly not going to go incur thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees trying to recoup something. So makes me believe that they have a certain financial cachet that they are lording over these women. And then the whole thing about the choking incident, you guys. Okay, so recently, I don't know if you guys follow the Bachelor franchise. I've spoken about it a couple times on this show, mostly because my husband used to work on the show. So when I talk about like production type-ish things, I usually reference his old job. But recently, a blogger named Reality Steve, who does like Bachelor spoilers, has come under a lot of fire for the way he kind of goes after cast members, especially female cast members. And recently, he had put out like, oh, I've changed, blah, blah, blah. I'm not the same person I was when I started blogging. And Demi Burnett, who was a cast member, I forget whose original season she was on, maybe Colton's, but I remember her from Bachelor in Paradise. She came out and shared screenshots that Reality Steve had lured her onto a phone call to reveal a graphic sexual fantasy he had about her. And if you notice in the screenshots, in the text messages back and forth, he goes, oh man, sorry I shared that with you. I'm so embarrassed. And she's like, ha ha ha, it's all good, you know, playing it off. But in reality, in real time, she was saying how uncomfortable she was and how gross she felt about it. So that might have seemed like a little bit of a tangent, and it was, but the reason why I brought that up is because in a text message, Christeline, and even in the moment, she could have felt pressure to go along with something she wasn't fully comfortable with. That's not uncommon. We hear that a lot, and it's something that we as a society are trying to change the culture around, like consent. A lot of people are actively trying to change that notion. Christeline could have definitely not felt comfortable, but still said she was comfortable. And then in a text message, maybe she was trying to like make it seem like she was cool with it. And then with, if like just the whole relationship is getting toxic and she's just at her wit's end about things, she could just say, here's all the things that have happened to me that I don't want him around me anymore. I found it kind of disappointing that we seem to have confirmation that this choking incident happened. And I guess to me, it's like just based on that, I would say give the gal a protective order, you know? Like she wasn't comfortable with this, and I take her word now for it, and we see it happen. It's not infrequent that people go along with things they're not super comfortable with. Just a really low level example, I fucking hate roller coasters. I have never gotten off a roller coaster and said, "Jeez, I'm really glad I did that." But when I was a teenager and I would go to like Six Flags in California, it's called Magic Mountain. I know there's different Six Flags all over the country. And I would go with my friends. Well, I didn't want to be like the loser that wasn't going on roller coasters. So I would go on the roller coasters and then I'd be like, "Hey, oh my God, that was so awesome. Like, print that picture. I gotta have it." But inside, I was hating it the entire time. I don't know. I feel like just because someone might have immediately after the incident said, "Yeah, that was cool," and then later on said, "Gee, I really hated that. That was awful. I just, ugh." I think we need to listen to the person and not their like old text messages. That's just my opinion. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. I'm sure more information will come out. Again, I don't think TLC is even going to acknowledge what's going on, to be honest. But we will see what happens, and I will continue to update you guys. Let me know what you think. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, you guys. Have a good one. Much love.